My wife had me arrested. He's dangerous, she cried to the cops. At the station, I made my one call. The handcuffs were too tight. Not enough to hurt, just enough to humiliate. I could still smell her perfume when the officer pushed me into the back of the squad car. Jasmine and lies. She stood on the porch, tears streaming down her face, clutching the robe I bought her last Christmas. "He's dangerous," she shouted, her voice cracking perfectly, like she'd rehearsed it. And maybe she had. The neighbors watched. Lights flickered on up and down the street. I didn't fight. I didn't argue. I just stared at her. Because I knew something she didn't. As the police car rolled away, she whispered something to the officer. He nodded. I caught a glimpse of her smirk. Small, confident, fatal. That's when I smiled. Because she thought this was the end. But for me, it was only the setup. It started 3 weeks ago. A strange shift in her tone. A pause before she said my name. Late nights at the office. Silent phone calls. The occasional text she'd hide under the table. She thought she was clever. She forgot who she married. I've built companies by spotting lies before they collapse. And I could feel it. Something inside her had already broken. So I didn't confront her. I observed. I documented. I planned. The night she called the police, she had just emptied half our joint savings. I knew because I moved the rest 2 hours earlier. Her friend, the one she swore was just a colleague, had transferred her $20,000 the same morning. She thought I'd react with anger. She needed me to, because she'd already filed a restraining order, a preemptive strike. The perfect play. Provoke, cry abuse, win sympathy, and walk away with everything. But she underestimated silence. And silence, when sharpened, can cut deeper than any scream. At the station, they took my belt, my watch, my phone. "You get one call," the officer said. I nodded. I already knew who I was calling. The moment they closed the door, I asked for privacy. They allowed it. Routine, nothing special. I dialed a number burned into my mind. "James," I said quietly, "it's time." There was a pause, then a single word from the other end. Understood. James wasn't a lawyer. He was an investigator. Private, discreet, expensive. 3 weeks ago, I hired him. Not for suspicion, for confirmation. He had everything. Photos, call logs, messages, even video. She wasn't just cheating. She was conspiring to destroy me financially before she left. James had sent me the file the night before my arrest. I hadn't even opened it yet. I wanted to see how far she'd go. Now I knew. I sat in the holding cell quietly. Other men shouted, cursed, begged. I leaned back, closed my eyes, and waited. Waiting is power, especially when you already know the outcome. Morning came. They released me on bail before noon. James was waiting outside, black car, tinted windows, coffee ready. "She moved fast," he said, handing me a folder. "Filed for emergency protection, froze one account, tried to liquidate another." "And?" I asked. "She doesn't know we moved first. Everything's frozen in your favor. Also," he paused, "you might want to see this." He handed me a series of photos. Her in hotel room, laughing. With him, the same friend who bailed her out of debt last year. But that wasn't the real blow. The last photo showed a document on the nightstand. Her signature, a false domestic violence statement, dated 2 weeks ago. She planned this long before the arrest. Every word, every tear rehearsed. I didn't say anything. I just stared at her signature until the ink felt like fire. "Want me to send this to your lawyer?" James asked. I shook my head. "No." "To the police chief." He frowned. "You sure?" "Yes. But first, schedule a meeting with her lawyer. Noon, today." She walked into the conference room looking radiant, like Betrayal was her new skincare routine. Her lawyer, confident, smirking, greeted me like I was already defeated. "Mr. Hayes," he said, "I advise you to keep your distance from my client. Any contact could violate—" I placed the folder on the table, slowly. Open it." He hesitated, then did. His expression shifted from amusement to confusion to panic. Photo after photo, time-stamped, cross-referenced with call records, signed false statements, bank transfers, everything. Her lawyer turned pale. She reached for the folder. I stopped her hand midway. "Careful," I said quietly. "That's evidence now." She froze. Her eyes darted between me and the lawyer. You can't." I leaned closer. "Do you know what perjury gets you? Or filing a false police report?" Her lips trembled. I smiled. "I already did." Her lawyer stood up abruptly, muttering something about needing a moment outside. He didn't come back. When the officers entered 15 minutes later, she finally understood. Not because of the cuffs, but because I didn't even look at her. She cried my name. I kept my eyes on the floor. No anger, no satisfaction, just silence. The house was empty that night. Her perfume lingered faintly, like a ghost that refused to leave. I poured myself a drink, sat on the porch, and watched the world continue as if nothing had happened. People laughed, cars passed, dogs barked, and somewhere downtown she was sitting in a cell, the same one I had sat in yesterday. I didn't hate her anymore. Hatred implies attachment, and I had none left to give. The next morning I called my lawyer, told him to proceed with the divorce. No settlements, no mercy. He asked if I wanted to attend the hearing. I said no, because revenge isn't loud. It's quiet. It's the sound of a door closing for the last time and never opening again. I finished my drink, placed the empty glass down, and smiled at the silence. She wanted me to lose control. Instead, I mastered it. And that's something she'll never understand.